Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to Star Wars Headlines here at laughingplace.com. Oh, hey, I don't want that to be up there. There we go. I'm Rebecca Mosley, the co founder of Laughing Place, and with me is our executive director of all things Star Wars here at Laughing Place, along with our West Coast correspondent, Mike Celestino. Mike,
Hello.
Owen.
It's great to be back talking about Star Wars.
Oh, I know, and they gave us plenty to talk about. We've got some comic books, a book, some Hasbro toys, all kinds of things. But I think we're going to start it off with the most exciting thing that happened the past few days, I guess, within the world of Star Wars. And that is
Unreally appropriate.
the trailer for the Book of Boba Fett.
Oh man, I actually have in the other room a beanie cap that looks like Boba Fett's helmet. I should be wearing it right now.
Oh, seriously?
That's
Oh,
totally
that's pretty
dumb.
cool.
I guess I should run and get it real quick.
Okay, you do that. You
Give
do
me
that
like
while
1 second.
Yeah, no, I'll talk a little bit while you're gone. So later on, we'll probably talk a little bit more about these, but Laughing Place got a few of the Hasbro lightsabers and such that they're so much fun. They have varying pieces. So I guess because of Doobie, Mike is going to wear a fuzzy hat and Mickey's animal spirit. There he goes. Mike got it. It's all good. There we go. So I have a fuzzy hat. Mike has a Star Wars fuzzy hat. We're good to go. We're ready to talk about
Wait, you
Boba
want to
Fett.
know the great thing about this? It was like we got it at the $5 store, so it was $5. But then like you can do this.
That's fun. Oh, how goofy. I love it.
It's so dumb.
No, that's fun. I love little things like that with dollar store finds or those kinds of store finds. So way
All
more
right.
fun. But
Great.
the Book of Boba Fett trailer dropped earlier this week. Very exciting. Celestino actually did a deep dive into it, and so we're going to kind of go over some of what Mike talked about in his 52 images that he pulled from this.
52 shots. I think it was 58 total images because I broke up some of the shots into part A and part B because it was like a pan over or a tilt up and down or something, or somebody walked into the frame. I don't know. But
So
yeah,
I'm going to
52
let you
shots.
guide us through. I'm going to let you guide us through. We start off with the just the poster that they unveiled, and then the picture that Mike had at the top of his article, and then I'll hook on over to the images themselves. Let me
Cool.
straighten it out where we're little, because you really want to see these images.
Yeah. As soon as I woke up yesterday morning, I saw that the trailer had been posted and I watched it first thing. And this was the first image that popped up. And I got so excited because on my list of things that I wrote the other day on Friday, coincidentally, I wrote 10 things I want to see in the Book of Boba Fett. And one of them was the other denizens of Jabba's palace, including the Bomar monks, which is this is one of them. And the Bomar monks are an order of religious followers who have their brains removed and placed in these glass bulbs, and then the glass jar is like attached to the spider droid, so they can walk around. It's kind of like a sensory deprivation type thing. But I've always been fascinated by that, like background character from Return of the Jedi. But they went ahead and opened the Book of Boba Fett trailer with the Bomar monk, which is awesome. I doubt they'll go into their backstory or anything in this, but it's just cool to see them again. I think they've popped up in some of the ancillary cartoons and stuff, but I just remember them as the weird spider droid that walks behind C-3PO and R2-D2 in the Jabba's palace.
I love how initially it seems to be like a new biological creature, but then when you look, you realize it's a droid. Like initially, oh, that's an enormous spider. But then when you look and you can see the angles, you're like, oh wait, that's a spider droid looking thing. It's like,
yeah. The other cool part about their backstory is that Jabba's palace is actually a former Bomar monastery that got taken over by this other guy, and then Jabba took it over from him. This is all like
wow.
deep dive stuff.
So
But
maybe
yeah,
we'll get to learn more about them in the story if
it could be. It could be.
it over. Maybe there's
Yeah,
like some secrets within the monastery that we'll have to, open and unlock in order for some of our adventures to happen. That'd be cool. I'm game.
me too. Yeah, then this droid comes up and hands him the helmet. I didn't recognize the droid from anything. All you see is this little dome there and his two hands lifting the helmet up into the frame. But I don't know if the droid has been seen before anywhere, but it didn't connect with me as anybody. Then Boba Fett puts on the helmet, obviously. Now I've seen people theorizing that this tank behind him there is
Oh,
some kind of like rejuvenation
mhm.
tank or like a back to tank. I didn't write that in my recap because it didn't occur to me. It just looked like some kind of tech or something. But yeah, now that
Dude.
I've seen people talking about that, maybe he's sleeping in there. And then people have pointed out that his face is like a lot more healed up than it was in The Mandalorian after he got
Yeah,
out of the Sarlacc.
yeah, I was gonna say he looks a lot better here than he did the first time we encountered him on Tatooine in Mandalorian. I'm interested to see if we learn more about his Sarlacc pit journey or not. I mean, can you imagine the PTSD that that could be?
Right.
So I'll be interested to see if they kind of explore that survival, right? Because that's the only way you get through that is with some amazing survival skills and a tenacious spirit.
Yeah.
So who
Well, the
knows?
other thing people have been pointing out is that Tamura Morrison, the actor, I think he's like 60 years old. And
Mm,
in the Star Wars chronology, by the time of The Mandalorian, I think Boba Fett's supposed to be like in his 40s or something. But it kind of makes sense, I guess, if you've been through all that he would age. Because, as we've seen with Obi-Wan, people tend to age faster on Tatooine just in general.
I was gonna say Tatooine is not the planet of the forever young.
The helmet you can see is also a little bit more dinged up than it was when he repainted it in The Mandalorian too. So he's already been through something, some kind of battle, or he's just dropping it on the ground a lot. I don't know. I like what they did with the colors of the Lucasfilm logo, kind of a rusty green and red for Boba
Green and
Fett.
the Boba Fett
Yeah,
colors. Totally. Even I picked up on that.
yeah.
I'm the casual and I'm like, oh look, it's a Boba Fett color scheme.
So this is the settlement where we see most of the action in the trailer take place. It's not somewhere that I think we've ever visited before. We're also not sure if this is on Tatooine or another desert planet, but it looks to be built into some kind of big crater or canyon. And we see Fennec Shand, played by Ming-Na Wen, and Boba Fett walking toward that central structure there, past some merchants selling what looks like a cloth or some kind of tapestry, and she's got a lot of baskets and containers and stuff. And then this is pretty exciting. This is an Ithorian species character. We're not sure if it's anybody we've seen before. I've seen some people theorizing it might be Doc Ondar, but it doesn't quite look like Doc Ondar to me.
Mm-mm.
Doc Ondar has like a little like tuft of hair under his chin and some other specifics. He's kind of dressed differently and like different shade of skin. So I think
Mhm.
this is just a different Ithorian kind of crime lord guy that Boba Fett and Fennec Shand are going to talk to. I do like these runes on the walls surrounding him, those glyphs that come straight out of some old Ralph McQuarrie concept art. And we've seen those used before in other Star Wars stuff, including at Galaxy's Edge. Some of the buildings have those type of glyphs around them. I don't think they translate to anything that I know of. And his assistant there or aide is a Twi'lek.
Yeah, I noticed quite a few in the throughout the trailer. We saw quite a few Twi'leks
Yes,
represented. So that'll be interesting to get a broader introduction to the Twi'leks.
right. Which makes sense because they were first seen in Jabba's palace
Hmm.
with Bib Fortuna, and the dancer Ula was a Twi'lek. So this is a wider, more establishing shot of that settlement built into that big crater. To me, when I saw this, I thought it's probably not Tatooine, but
Yeah,
I guess it could still be. Obviously, it's still a desert planet. I've seen some theories about which planet this could be, but we really don't know at this point where this is or what it's called. I do like the design of it quite a bit, though. It just
because
looks a little bit more bustling than something you would see on Tatooine.
Because of that light beam coming from off screen and towards the center obelisk, it reminded me of the scene in Raiders when Indiana has the staff of Everard. He's trying to find
Right.
with that.
That had not occurred to me, but yeah, it looks
It was
like Tanis.
I went there immediately. It was very. I had to laugh, but I also see in the background along the cliff. There's like these tubes, and it makes me wonder if that's how you get out other than
Oh,
a hovercraft. Like
I like that. If
it's
they're
like
like elevators, something.
yeah,
Yeah,
because
I like it.
so I don't know. Maybe it could be totally like just some industrial thing, but my thought was it's the off ramp. Um,
So this is just the throne that was occupied by Bib Fortuna at the end of The Mandalorian season 2, and then Boba Fett shoots him and takes the throne for himself. And people have pointed out that these runes on the throne there actually spell out Boba Fett over and over again, which doesn't really make sense unless he had somehow had this throne before. Obviously, it's not Jabba the Hutt's throne because Jabba would never fit on there.
mhm.
I think that's just probably just like an Easter egg that the designers threw in because it doesn't really make sense for it to say Boba Fett.
Oh, that's interesting. Oh, I
It's
wonder.
not Arabesh. It's one of the other weird Star Wars languages.
And are those Rancor heads on the armrests?
No, those. We don't have a better shot of that, huh?
No, unfortunately.
Those were also on Jabba's dais as
Okay.
well. I don't remember what they're supposed to represent, if they're Rancor heads or not. I'm pretty sure that they're not Rancors. Now we're back in that Ithorian's den. You can tell by the glyphs on the back wall there again. So apparently this deal goes south and these soldiers start attacking our protagonist, because in the following shot you'll see Boba Fett picking up his gun there. We've got 2 Gamorrean guards in the background. People are saying that Boba Fett probably took these guys with him to enter into negotiations with this crime lord. There's another soldier.
Were these soldiers, other than Ming-Na and Boba Fett, were these people actors that we recognize, or no? Okay.
No, I don't.
Cameo in the trailer that people like, whoa, like we had with Mando. I think there were a couple of kind of familiar character actors that leaked, but not here.
Yeah, they didn't jump out at me as anyone we would have known, and their costuming doesn't quite match anything that I think we've seen before.
Okay. Yeah, no, the action shots look fun. For me, I'm overall enjoying the feel of this more than the initial peak we got at Mandalorian, which didn't engage me, but it was unfamiliar characters, whereas here I already have a preconceived notion, and Mike Mack coming in with the 5% chance. Maybe he seems to be just about everything else right now, huh, Mike?
I'm shocked he hasn't done anything in Star Wars yet, but I'm sure it'll happen soon.
Give it time.
What else we got?
Back to the trailer. Let's see. We've got Boba Fett responding, and then outside again.
Yeah, so this seems like it's either before or after that scene. They're outside back in that city streets, and Boba Fett takes off his helmet there. He's kind of looking up away, and then Ming-Na Wen's character, Fennec Shand, steps in and looks at him. There's more people in the background, another Gamorrean guard back there, but not much else. Yeah. I like this shot, kind of a sweeping shot looking up at Jabba's palace, and you can see there's one lone figure making his way up the hill toward that entrance there.
Oh, I hadn't even noticed. I love it. Okay. Wow.
So that's the same path that C-3PO and R2-D2 walk up in Return of the Jedi.
Very familiar.
Okay, then we get a big kind of dinner party meeting between Boba Fett, Fennec Shand, and what she calls the what word does she use to describe them? The heads of the crime families under Jabba the Hutt. I forget what word she used, but I wrote it in that analysis.
But I'll pull it up while you talk.
Okay. Anyway, the species represented at this dinner party are Trandoshan, which is Bossk's species, which you can see there in the center. the guy in the very background there on the other end of the table from Boba Fett is a Klatooinian. And then in one of the other shots, we see a Quailish, who's the same species as Ponda Baba from the original Star Wars movie. And it seems like they're entering into some kind of negotiations again. Like Boba Fett's going around to all these crime lords, starting to set up a new arrangement.
She refers to them as captains. That's the
captains. Yes, I should have thought about it because it's kind of like a mafia movie kind of thing where all the crime bosses are meeting together. You've seen this if you watch the 1989 Tim Burton Batman movie. They kind of do the same thing. Even in the Dark Knight with the Joker, he gets all the crime bosses together in the same place.
Yeah.
So there's the Aqualish guys, the guys with those big tusks.
The one in this one right here. Is this a Klatooinian?
Yeah, Klatooinian. They were first visible in Return of the Jedi on Jabba's skiff, the sail barge skiff. They're the skiff guards, basically.
For me, they evoked Mike Myers. No, not so much. Maybe Jim Carrey Grinch imagery was what kind of. But I think maybe it's because Universal Orlando's getting ready to move into the Grinchmas season, so I just have Grinch on the brain. But that's kind of where I went. Yeah, he was just a little bit less intimidating than the other characters visually around the table.
Then Boba Fett and Fennec Shand are standing at the top of the palace. You see the curtains there in the background. They're kind of out on this little balcony in an alcove, and they zoom out. There's kind of a jump cut at this point, and it zooms out. We can see how they're kind of looking out over their new domain in the Dune Sea on Tatooine, and says every galaxy. Okay, this is 4 Tusken Raiders in silhouette walking through kind of a sandstorm in the desert of Tatooine. I've seen theories that this is maybe a flashback to the Tuskens finding Boba Fett after he comes out of the Sarlacc, because we do know that he ends up kind of dressing like a Tusken Raider and using the gaffy stick weapon that we saw in The Mandalorian when he beats up all those stormtroopers. So maybe they kind of adopt him. People are theorizing that they kind of adopt him as one of their own.
Oh, so maybe we do get some flashbacks to the survival of the Sarlacc pit. That would be really interesting.
Yep, and that was another thing on my list. So hopefully that'll get checked off too. This is an interesting expansion of what Fennec Shand can do with her weapon. She kind of removes this throwable blade from the hilt there. And in the next shot, she throws it out in front of her.
I'm trying to delete it, and instead I destroy it. There you go. Okay. I got it. Although, Doobie, if you're around and you can log in and make sure, that'd be helpful. Okay.
And yeah, she like throws that weapon in front of her. She's standing there behind the throne again. If you can match it to the other shot to see kind of the geography of where she's standing. And then we see, this is probably in and around that same scene with the Ithorian. Because they come through this door, Boba Fett and Fennec Shand, they've got Gamorrean guards walking in behind them. So it kind of adds up that either that's before or after their meeting with the Ithorian character.
In reference to the Tusken Raiders, it looks like Mike Mack has a less than desirable outcome for the Raiders.
Yeah, that could be the other way too. He just kills them all and takes their stuff.
Yeah, after they take care of him, he in essence says, "Okay, well now I'm the boss," and takes them all out.
That's one of the big conversations happening around Book of Boba Fett is whether or not he's like turning over a new leaf and becoming kind of a trying to be a better person after surviving the Sarlacc. He kind of has a new outlook on life, maybe because he did help Din Djarin rescue Grogu in the finale, even though he flew away and didn't really participate after dropping them off on the ship. But he's been kind of a jerk to some people throughout the decade. So maybe he's turning over a new leaf and trying to be a better guy. We don't know yet. These are two. Yeah.
That's one of those storylines where I could see it bringing some interesting conflict between him and Fennec Shand, because if he in essence is turning over this new leaf, one of the quotes in the trailer from him is what in essence I will get them to follow me because I will respect them. You know, and so if he's kind of approaching his leadership as offer respect, get respect, and she's more of a iron fist is how you maintain control, it could present an interesting dynamic to the story of the underworld.
Yeah, you have to wonder how that relationship's going to play out too, like whether she is going to be entirely loyal to him or if they're going to have some friction between them too. We'll see. These are two Twi'leks, like you mentioned before. I found out after I wrote my little breakdown that the character on the right there is Jennifer Beals, the actress from what is it, Dirty Dancing or Flashdance or one of those.
One of those. I'm with you. One of those. Okay.
But yeah, she's promoted as being in the series, and this actually turned out to be her. So she's playing a Twi'lek character, probably going to have Flashdance, Doobie Mosley says.
Thank you, Doobie.
And they're in some kind of a restaurant or bar. There's patrons sitting at booths and tables around them. Somebody walks by wearing a fez. But they're having this whisper conversation and looking at the camera like they're discussing somebody. So as every galaxy has an underworld, which is my favorite aspect of the Star Wars galaxy. So I'm super excited.
I know. Enough with those Jedi.
Yeah, seriously. I'm tired of the Force. Let's get to the gangsters and the smugglers and the bounty hunters.
What is it? How is it that Obi-Wan describes Mos Eisley?
A wretched hive of scum and villainy.
Yes, that is what Mike Celestino wants more of in his Star Wars.
So then we see the Slave One kind of flying over the desert, probably Tatooine. It's either dusk or daybreak again. And we're back at that meeting, and one of the Klatooinians sitting at the head of the table there says, why don't we just, what would happen if we just killed you and took what we wanted? And then Boba Fett and Fennec Shand kind of look at each other while they're drinking. And I think Fennec Shand's, I think it gets to that a bit later, but we see the Boba Fett helmet kind of tumble to the ground during this fight, and a bunch of New Republic credits spill out of it. You can actually see, if you zoom in, the Rebel Alliance insignia on those coins, which is a cool detail.
Oh, wow. Okay. Yeah, I'm not able to. I don't know why.
Yeah, that's okay. They'll have to take my word for it. And then the next sequence of shots is just this big fight that happens in that settlement. And again, I don't think we've seen these guys before. They kind of resemble this assassin known as Deathstick, who's been popping up in the comics. Okay. But her costume's a little bit different. I think this is some new faction that we don't know yet. And they've got these cool red energy shields, and they use vibro blades as weapons. And it actually looks like right at the beginning of this fight that Fennec Shand and Boba Fett are kind of worried about these guys because they're outnumbering them. But then we do see that Boba Fett is able to grab one of them, slam him to the ground, and use his vibro blade against him. So there you go. Yep.
Yeah. He took him out.
And then we're back in the throne room in Jabba's palace, and it's probably after that dinner scene, and Fennec Shand is addressing those gangsters and saying that if you were to talk that way to Jabba the Hutt, he would feed you to his menagerie, she says, which I'm thinking she's referring to the Rancor, and implying that he might have other beasts down there, and maybe the other Rancor that we saw in the Bad Batch being captured. Because as people have argued about, that's not the same Rancor that we saw killed by Luke in Return of the Jedi. So is there another Rancor? Maybe. That would be cool to see. I didn't put that in my list. But then, yeah, we saw the reverse shot of the Aqualish kind of reacting to that. And then I think there's one with the Klatooinian guys, and he's like stopping his friend from attacking. And then Boba Fett says, you should speak free. Feel free to speak freely, or something like that.
Please speak freely.
And I saw somebody compare that to, there's a scene in the movie Kill Bill where Lucy Liu has taken over this Japanese Yakuza gang, and somebody says something criticizing one of her choices, and she like runs down the table and slices off the dude's head or something, and then she goes like, you should, everybody else should feel free to criticize me whenever you want, but you may get killed for it.
And as always, this is coming to Disney Plus on
December 29th. Less than 2 months away. Very excited.
Yeah, very exciting. So much. I mean, I'm excited for the expanse of species that we encountered in these scenes. So it'll be interesting to see how much more we learn about them during the course of the series.
Well, what's great about The Mandalorian and the Book of Boba Fett is that most of the aliens that we see in the background are species that we know from the original trilogy. I always wondered in the sequel trilogy why they didn't do that more often. They're always inventing weird looking creatures, which is cool too. But I wanted to see more like, Rhodians and Ithorians and all these other species that already existed. You'd think they would pop up every once in a while, but it didn't really happen that much. If you go to Canto Bight or wherever else they visit in the sequels, I kind of hoped that they would incorporate more of that kind of stuff, but I don't know.
And throughout Mike's article highlighting those shots, he also included a few little did you know facts, and we'll also put down below a link to his article on the 10 things that he's looking forward to, that he hopes will be in.
Yeah, can we go through that real quick?
Sure. Let me see. Okay. I got it right here.
Yeah, so on Friday, it was like 2 months out. It was exactly 2 months out from the premiere. So I was like, let's do the 10 things that I want to see, that I wish I could see in the show.
There we go. Okay, I'll scroll down.
Okay, so number 1 was the other bounty hunters from The Empire Strikes Back. This is the scene where they're all introduced. Dengar, IG-88, Bossk, obviously my favorite, Forlom and Zuckuss. I hope these guys all show up in the Book of Boba Fett. Obviously, we all met them all in the same scene, so I feel like this is the perfect opportunity to bring them back in live action. The Sarlacc we've already talked about, and I feel like that's a pretty likely one too.
I agree.
Timothy Oliphant's character from The Mandalorian, Cobb Vanth, who held the Boba Fett armor between the events of Return of the Jedi and The Mandalorian. I want to know why Boba Fett wasn't able to retrieve the armor from Cobb Vanth, and I hope that they explore that, and I hope that Timothy Oliphant comes back to play that character, because it was really fun to see him in Star Wars. This is a smuggler's moon called Nar Shaddaa. It's all over the expanded universe storytelling in the Legends continuity and in the current continuity. It's the moon that orbits the Hutt homeworld of Nal Hutta, but it's basically where all the smugglers and bounty hunters and scum and villainy hang out when they're not tracking their prey or whatever. So I really hope that pops up. We've never seen that in live action. Han Solo and Chewbacca. Here's the thing about this. First of all, I'd say, Han and Boba Fett are kind of like arch nemesis. We know that from the old Legends expanded universe stuff. So it'd be great to see him pop up. Obviously, it's unlikely that Harrison Ford is going to come back to reprise the character, even if they de-age him or whatever. You do have Alden Ehrenreich, who they could, I guess, age up. I feel like the most likely thing that would happen with this is you've got Jonas Suotamo, who's the actor playing Chewbacca these days. He's young and in perfect health. So I think there's a good chance we might see Chewbacca. And if we see Chewbacca, I bet Han's presence will be like implied, but not shown directly. Like we may see him in silhouette or something, or he might be flying the Falcon while Chewie's doing something with Boba Fett or whatever. But I feel like it's possible that we might see Chewbacca.
Mike's hopes. Hang on. Now we got this going on. Okay, and I will scroll down to the next one.
Oh, yeah. So this was the one where I said I'd like to see a bunch of the other denizens of Jabba's palace. Some of these characters are my favorite background aliens from all of Star Wars. That guy on the very right side is called Effant Mon. In the background, you can see a Mana Man. He's like way in the back left there. also one of my favorites. But I kind of want them to explore some of these guys a little bit more, even as like supporting characters. It would be cool. And there's Greedo's cousin Beto there on the left behind Jabba. Yeah, he just looks exactly like Greedo. And then this is kind of similar to the Han and Lando one, where I feel like it's more likely that we'll get Lobot, but it's also possible we could get Lando. And I thought it would be neat for Boba Fett to return to Cloud City, because that was a key location for him in Empire. This one I feel like is sort of likely as well. This is the character Omega, who was introduced in the Bad Batch, who's actually kind of Boba Fett's twin sister. And the Bad Batch, they haven't met yet, Omega and Boba Fett. Then you've also got Captain Rex, who's another clone of Boba Fett's father, Jango Fett, who we know has survived all the way up through the end of Return of the Jedi, because we know he fought in the Battle of Endor. And I feel like there's a possibility we may get Temuera Morrison playing Captain Rex again. And we could also see Omega grown up, because Omega doesn't have the sped up aging that the other clone soldiers do.
Okay.
So she may age alongside Boba Fett, and we may meet her as an adult in the Book of Boba Fett. I think that would be cool. And then just kind of my wish list, Batu. We haven't seen it in live action yet.
Nope. That would be fun.
We haven't seen it in animation yet either. It's really just been in the books and comics, and obviously at the theme parks. I would love to see it. And gaming, yeah, and virtual reality.
Mm-hmm.
But I think it's time. I can definitely picture Boba Fett walking around the streets of Black Spire Outpost.
It would definitely add some dynamic nature to Batu, like we've seen with Avengers Campus, right? Where something would appear on Disney Plus, and then it would transform Avengers Campus a little bit. That would be fun if we could have that, where we met these characters on the Book of Boba, and then you could go meet or experience them in person on Batu.
And then the last one is kind of a long shot, but the more I think of it, the more it seems like it might be the kind of crazy thing they would pull. Obviously, Samuel L. Jackson's character Mace Windu got killed by Emperor Palpatine in the end of Revenge of the Sith. But a lot of people theorize that he might have survived falling out that window, and maybe was even the Jedi that helped Grogu escape the temple before Anakin killed all the younglings. What better place to bring him back than against the guy whose father he killed? Because Mace Windu killed Jango Fett in the arena on Geonosis. So Boba needs to get revenge against the Jedi.
That could be.
And Samuel L. Jackson, he's an old guy himself, but he's very spry. He's doing all those Marvel movies. I think it's time for him to step back into Star Wars for a minute.
That'd be fun. Let's see. Mike Mack agrees he would like to see Donald Glover as Lando, hopefully make an appearance. And Doobie's asking, hey Mike, did you do a Mando season 2 things you'd like to or hoped that would happen? And did you get any of them?
I don't remember.
Yeah,
I honestly don't remember if I did one of those. I would like to go back and see.
Yeah, I don't recall either. We'll have to check that out. Let's see. Continuing along with Star Wars headlines, we've got a number of comic books that Mike has read in recent days. We're going to start off with continuing the bounty hunter talk. Yes, IG-88, Born to Kill.
Yeah, so when I was a teenager, I had this book. I still have it. It's in the other room. It's called The Tales of the Bounty Hunters, and that was always one of my favorite Star Wars books. It was like an anthology short story collection, and my favorite short story in there was the IG-88 story. So this was right up my alley, and I really enjoyed it because it reminded me a lot of that, except that this takes place after The Empire Strikes Back, after Darth Vader has kind of destroyed IG-88, which happened a few months ago in the comics. And we get to see kind of the aftermath of that, how he gets rebuilt and how he starts pursuing Boba Fett because Jabba the Hutt has put this bounty out on Boba Fett as part of the whole War of the Bounty Hunters ongoing storyline, which is still not over yet. Even though the main miniseries ended, there's still a few more tie-in issues that still have to come out. But I really like this issue a lot. And like I said, IG-88 is one of my favorites. It's always great to kind of step into his droid brain, get to hear what he's thinking a little bit.
I also owned that book, and I didn't end up reading it. I read parts of it, but I didn't end up finishing it. And now I regret not having done it.
Oh, it's great. It's great.
Meanwhile, Mike Mack says, doesn't look like we have a 10 things post for Mando, but I'm going to be stealing this for future Marvel projects. Thanks. That's what we do here. Teamwork.
Yeah, it's fun to try to predict stuff, or like give our wish lists at least and see if we get anything right. I already got the Bomar Monk, so I'm checking that one off. But we'll see what else.
We used to do an annual wish list on the LP podcast when Doobie and I were on that, and we would make what we would call bold predictions, and in most cases it was kind of big blue sky dreams we had for what would happen in the world of Disney. So I love this idea. It's fun to see where fans want to see the series go and where it ends up going. So where are the surprises and where are the fulfilled wish?
Yeah.
Then we had Bounty Hunters, Darth Vader.
Yeah, I think this is the last issue of Darth Vader that'll tie into War of the Bounty Hunters. And this, we just see Darth Vader's perspective of him boarding the Hutt ship and basically taking out all of the Hutt cartel, basically just like leaving Jabba as the one ruling the Hutt cartel. And I thought it was pretty good. There's some interplay between those characters there we see on the bottom in that image, the Ochi of Bastoon and Administrator Moore, who are kind of like enemies within Darth Vader's team of Siths. They don't like each other very much, and they keep butting heads. But yeah, it was pretty good. I'm kind of waiting for all these comics to get out from under the shadow of War of the Bounty Hunters, because they had all this pressure to tie in with that. I just kind of want them to tell their own stories, but we'll see what happens after this, because they still got to go and do this other miniseries event coming up called Crimson Dawn or Crimson Reign. That's about the Crimson Dawn criminal organization, and I don't know if they're going to be doing like tie-in issues with that or what, but we'll find out.
And in the High Republic comic series, The Monster of Temple Peak.
Yeah, so this is a 4-issue miniseries that was actually supposed to be released as a graphic novel all at once. For whatever reason, IDW just decided to split it up into 4 issues and release it one at a time. I kind of wish they had done it all at once, but I do enjoy it. I think it's a pretty good story. It's about this ex-Jedi named Ty Yorick, who's out basically like exploring the galaxy, and she's become like a monster hunter. And this village hires her to track down this monster. Wow. She has to climb up to the top of this mountain and basically slay the dragon kind of thing. And then she meets this little creature that she's got behind him there, who becomes her kind of like hesitant companion.
The artwork is awesome.
Yeah, I am enjoying it. There's one more issue left to go next month.
Okay. So the continuing adventures over there at the Star Wars The High Republic, and this is a Kevin Scott title.
Yes, who writes, I feel like he's writing like half of all Star Wars content that's coming out lately. He's just so incredibly busy, and he writes other stuff too. I don't know how he does it, but he does.
Amazingly prolific. Yeah, it is incredible to constantly see his name up there on the various publications. And then just a few months ago you did a review of a book on the Jedi, and
I actually didn't review that one. I didn't get sent that one, but I knew that it had come out, and now they did a follow-up book called The Secrets of the Sith. This is really I would say it's for about kids 8 to 12.
Okay.
Kind of in that age range. And it's really like the basics of what the Sith are all about. It's actually written from the perspective of Darth Sidious, aka Emperor Palpatine. And it's about his whole plan, his whole history, his rise to power. And kind of takes place between episodes 8 and 9. So he's writing from the perspective of like preparing for this big final confrontation and like revealing to the galaxy that he's still alive. And then, you know, he's set up this whole thing where he's going to take over Rey's body. He talks about the Force dyad between Rey and Kylo Ren, how that's part of his plan. And he just kind of goes through all the tenets of the Sith, all their powers, all the people who have followed that religion and how it's different from the Jedi Order. And, you know, I don't think parents are encouraging their kids to join the Sith or the dark side by having them read this book. It's just kind of like, here's the perspective of the villains from Star Wars.
I love within the Chosen One page, you have this paragraph entitled The Dark Apprentice. I'm just going to read like the first few sentences because it just, you can tell that it's written by Palpatine, because it says, revealing my true nature to young Skywalker, I presented the dark side as the only path to ensuring his beloved's survival. He submitted himself to me, a Jedi no longer, and rose as my new Sith apprentice, Darth Vader. You can like hear Palpatine saying those words as, you know, as he was writing them down in whatever journal or whatnot that this book is supposed to have been the translation of. It's really well done.
Yeah, it's fun. I think kids of that age will get a kick out of it for sure.
I was enjoying looking it over in your review. Let's see. Mike also got to journey back to Batuu for Star Wars Tales from the Galaxy's Edge. Only this time he did it from his living room.
Yeah. So last year they released this VR game or VR experience called Tales from the Galaxy's Edge. And I remember I reviewed it for the website for laughingplace.com. And I did like 3/4 of it because I kept getting motion sick. But then they released this expansion to it called Last Call a month or two ago. And I really wanted to play it because it involved, there you go, it's IG-88. You can play as IG-88, which, again, one of my favorite bounty hunters. So I had to do that. And then the other missions involved Doc Ondar from the parks from Galaxy's Edge. So I knew I wanted to do that too. So there was one day, I think it was like a week or two ago, where I was just like, all right, I'm going to do it. I'm going to finish the part 1 first. So I went and did that. And then I dived into part 2. But the motion sickness kept coming back. So I enlisted my wife. Every time I kept getting motion sick, she would step in. We would like tag out.
Nice.
And the VR headset, the Oculus, has this mode where you can cast it to the TV. Mm-hmm. So I can see what she's doing and would turn up the volume, and I'm basically watching what she's doing. So it's kind of like I'm able to experience it at the same time and give my honest opinion. But it was great. We were able to get through the whole thing like that, kind of going back and forth. I did about half and she did about half. And I thought it was really, really great. So much great detail. The characters are all wonderful. That's the bartender played by Bobby Moynihan. It was really funny. Like I said, Doc Ondar's in it. Hondo Anaka shows up, played by Jim Cummings. Yeah, just really, really fun. The missions are great. You're like tracking down these old Jedi artifacts on Batuu. There's like an old Jedi temple that you explore. It's kind of a little bit Indiana Jonesy too. And then the final mission for Doc Ondar is you're infiltrating a First Order base on Batuu and rescuing that bartender who gets captured because they think he's a spy. And that mission is just incredibly fun because you finally get to like shoot stormtroopers and stuff. You know, you picture Star Wars video games, like shooting stormtroopers should be the first thing on your list.
One of the things that I recall from your review was you felt this one leaned less heavily on the use of the lightsaber than some of the other experiences. Did that hold through your whole experience with it?
Yes,
this is you prefer to shoot things than to use the Jedi.
Yeah. Yeah, this game is way more blaster heavy than other Star Wars VR. Like if you played Vader Immortal, Nick is complimenting your hosting skill. If you play Vader Immortal, that's very lightsaber heavy, but this game is all about blasters. You get a ton of different types of blasters. They do run out eventually, like you eventually just can't fire anymore, so you got to throw it away and pick up another one. And then they have like little vents that you have to pull after a few shots. It overheats and you have to vent it, which is
Wow.
it's just really fun. And there's a lot of explosives. You can get thermal detonators that you throw, and these little drone droids that you can toss up in the air, and they'll follow you around and shoot your enemies for you.
Ooh, I like
Really,
that.
really great. The interface is really self-explanatory, user-friendly, and it's just a tremendous amount of fun. My only issue with it is the motion sickness. That doesn't affect everyone, and in fact, it doesn't affect me pretty much anywhere else except with this particular game. I don't know why. I was fine with Vader Immortal. I did that whole thing and didn't get sick. I
Yeah.
don't know why this one made me sick, but it did.
Well,
Oh,
I
and then
can say,
yeah, go ahead.
no, I was gonna say I can say from watching YouTube videos of people playing that the horizon moves so much.
Yeah,
It's
maybe
that
that's it.
there isn't kind of that area that you can lock on. So it reminded me of being on Harry Potter, the Forbidden Journey thing. I
Yeah.
have to close my eyes eventually because I can't. I am like I'm nowhere as steady. So
But yeah, the final mission is a bonus mission where you get to play as IG-88, the bounty hunter, and you just go through this facility like level by level, taking out all these bad guys while you're hunting for this one target who's like a crime boss kind of dude. And that's just a tremendous amount of fun too. There's these other bonus missions where you're a Jedi during the High Republic era, and you're kind of training and exploring another Jedi temple, and then you're training your own Padawan. And you do all these different basically training exercises where you're like balancing rocks on top of each other with the Force. There's a bit of lightsaber training and like throwing things with the Force and stuff like that. But yeah, I think it's definitely worth the money. I think overall the game is like $40 for,
okay.
and that would include both the original release and the expansion. So totally worth it if you already have the Oculus, of course.
So as the holiday season approaches, if you haven't dove into the Oculus world, consider putting that on a wish list. And then if you know somebody who recently added Oculus to their collection, here's a way to add some Star Wars to the fun. So
Yeah.
just a little bit of holiday help there. Continuing in the world of Star Wars items to bring into your home, there were quite a few announcements from Hasbro Plus. I'm sorry, Pulse.
Hasbro Pulse. Yeah.
That forever.
I know everything's Plus these days, and
right?
then Hasbro Pulse. Yeah, so they had this thing called PulseCon a couple of weeks ago, and they made all these announcements for new toys coming from the Black Series and the Vintage collection. And I think if we scroll down there,
were there any in particular, Mike, that got you, woohoo?
Yeah, Cobb Vanth was the big one for me.
Okay, so see, last week we highlighted a lot of these on Barely Necessities. Becca and I kind of went through the announcement because of the timing, and I said to Becca, Mike C must be very excited to see that Cobb Vanth character figure pop up. So
yeah, totally. I've already ordered that one.
Star Wars partner well.
So this is it's supposed to be like season 2. Din Djarin and Grogu, and they're fighting that spider. I didn't feel the need to get this one because it's just so similar to the other ones they've already released. Obviously, you do get the spider, which hasn't been put out before.
Yeah, but the one there's another one featured later on that has more spiders. So that was the one that I was thinking if I buckled down and bought any of them, it would be the one with more spiders. We'll get to it in a minute. But this is
Bill Burr's character, Mayfeld, in the Imperial disguise. I don't think this is available yet for pre-order. Okay. But that's definitely one that I want to get.
Coming in the spring of 2022.
Oh, yeah. This is Boba Fett in the Tusken Raider disguise, which is another really awesome figure that I'll definitely want to get when that goes up. But I don't think that was available yet either for pre-order. This one was.
This one was.
The same day. I remember I had to go to a movie screening at 1 p.m. No, it was 3 p.m. Wait, I don't remember. It was like around the afternoon at some point. But it was my screening started at the exact same time these figures were going on sale.
Oh, no.
So I was like outside the theater, like on my phone, getting ready to order the thing. And I managed to get the ones that I wanted. So I did get to place a pre-order for Cobb Vanth, which is super exciting. The character from Mandalorian season 2 episode, The Marshal, the season premiere of season 2.
So fun.
And then this is a similar set to that other one, but in the smaller scale, in the vintage collection, 3 3/4 inch scale.
And it has more spiders.
Yeah.
And it even had an egg, which I didn't notice if there was an egg in the other one, but this one seemed to have a hatching egg. So this is the one that caught my eye.
Yeah, that's pretty fun.
I felt like I'd skip the other one and go with this one. Ooh,
this is neat. I always like play sets. And this is the Navarro Cantina that we see all throughout season 1 of The Mandalorian. In the smaller 3 3/4 inch scale, it does come with a Death Trooper.
Okay.
And these are, it's like a troop builder pack of Rebel soldiers in the vintage collection, 3 3/4 inch. I think people always like to build out their armies on both the Rebel and Imperial sides, so that's what that's for. Oh, these are new box sets of Black Series figures coming to Galaxy's Edge, which is exciting. So they're kind of expanding that collection. This one has General Hux, sorry. Two First Order droids and one First Order Walker pilot or somebody. I'm not sure what they're calling that guy.
Wow, these are nice looking. So now you can recreate the Rise of Resistance experience at home. That's what I think when I see this.
Yeah, exactly.
That's what brings to my mind is.
In fact, I think is that the droid, the astromech droid? Is that the one who drives the ride vehicle?
That's what it reminds me. That's what where my mind went, was to the astro. But can I just say, I really wish there were more of those little mouse droids at Batuu. I was hoping we'd see a lot of those throughout the Rise of the Resistance experience, because that's among my more favorite little droids. I'm a sucker for a droid.
I have more in my house than there are in Galaxy's Edge. This is the Droid Depot pack. It's got the K series security droid. You got the BB unit. You got a pit droid. You have Babu Frick for some reason, who has not been spotted on Batuu that I know of, but he's in this pack. And then you have a battle droid who are on Batuu, but they're like deactivated. So
I want Babu Frick to come to Batuu.
Yeah, that would be cool.
That would be fun. Like if he was existing within the droid depot, you went in there and you saw kind of Babu standing off on the side.
Yeah, visiting droid expert Babu Frick.
That'd be cool. Or maybe that little alcove where they have all those like various droids and various. If maybe every once in a while had some sort of little brief little show that he could do there, in the same way that Rey appears and like works on sand speeders and stuff over on the side. If they had Babu show up, that'd be fun.
Yeah, when they release something like that, you have to wonder if that was planned and then they just didn't incorporate it.
Or maybe I'm gonna believe it's on the horizon. That's
maybe.
And that's what I'm gonna be more hopeful. Oh, some more.
And this is the creature stall pack, which comes with a Mynock, some Porgs. I forget what that little guy is in the middle there. He's in the Jedi Fallen Order video game, but I don't remember his name. And then 2 Kowakian monkey lizards, including the one on the right there, the blue and yellow one, which has not been made in the Black Series before. So that's kind of exciting, I guess. I have Porgs, I have a Mynock, and I have the Kowakian that looks like Salacious Crumb.
Okay.
So I don't know if I'm gonna buy this just for that other Kowakian monkey lizard. I'm sure it's gonna be like $30 or something or more.
And then as Mike Max says, if you need any repairs to your droid, you could bring them to and he is offering you information from the world of Harry Potter.
Yeah,
so
that's not
helpful. Try, Mike. We know better. We know better.
This is the new Force Effects Elite lightsaber. It is Leia's lightsaber. Now, how do you feel about the coloring of this? Is this closer to what you would want?
Yeah, no, this is much better in these pictures than the visuals that we had with the than the ones that we had with the at the park that now, because those were far too orange. Hers was leaning more pink than orange. So yeah, so I'm liking this. But these are all digital images, so We'll see what it ends up looking like in person.
The interesting thing about Leia's lightsaber is that when they make these toy versions, both in Galaxy's Edge and from Hasbro here, they both have to have these removable emitters at the top, because I think if you see in one of these pictures, if you click on the one down there that has the guy's like elbow in it, yeah, there you go on the right. So it has two different emitters, because the one that's resting on the table there, that's what it actually looks like in the movie. And then the one that's actually on the hilt right now that the blade's coming out of, it has to be that thick for the blade to fit into. So you can't, it has to be one or the other. If you want it just to be on display, you can switch it to the one that's more movie accurate. But if you want the blade in it, you have to put on that, the one that has a bigger circumference.
Wow. Interesting.
Yeah.
And then the moment, let me get it down there. It's my mouth is jumping from screen to screen. There we go. This is what blew my mind.
Yeah, so this is the largest Black Series figure that will have ever been made if it gets funded, which I'm pretty sure it will. It's the Rancor, the Black Series Rancor. It's tremendous. There's an image in here that's comparing it to this sail barge behind me, and then the upcoming Razor Crest HasLab project, and it looks like it's taller than either of them, and like, I don't know, it's got like more mass to it than it's just, I don't know where that thing is gonna live in my apartment.
That's amazing. So this is the Star Wars Vintage HasLab's Jabba sail barge.
Yes.
And this is the Rancor, and this is the Razor Crest. And
and
sail barge is what's over your shoulder, Mike?
Yeah, the sail barge. This is the Vintage Collection HasLab sail barge. It's the 3 3/4-inch scale.
Look at that. That's amazing.
I mean, it's behind me, so it's a little bit, it looks smaller than it is.
It's incredible.
But the toy on the left there, the sail barge is 3 3/4-inch scale. The Razor Crest is 3 3/4-inch scale, but the Rancor is 6-inch scale. So if they had made the Rancor to the same scale as the other two, it would be smaller, obviously, but they made it to the scale of the 6-inch Black Series figures, which is amazing. And it's just going to be so huge. I think that they're going to fit in his mouth at least halfway. I just can't wait. Yeah.
Yeah. And I agree with you. Where are you going to put that? That is amazing. The idea of finding space for that. That is really incredible. So those are the items of Hasbro's PulseCon, which I will forever call PlusCon until it's right in my face. And in more Star Wars news, Hayden Christensen is coming.
Evidently. Reportedly, is that what we're saying? I don't know. Has there been an official announcement? So we know that
that's just what's out there.
Okay, we know that he's going to be in the Obi-Wan Kenobi series, playing both Darth Vader and Anakin Skywalker. We don't really know how that's going to work out, but apparently also he's going to pop up in the live-action Ahsoka series coming to Disney Plus sometime in the future. I'm guessing as a Force ghost to talk to his old Padawan, Ahsoka Tano.
And on StarWarsKids.com and also their YouTube channel, they have a collection of videos that highlight various little creatures from the Star Wars galaxy. They have Wampa, Tuca, also known as Lothcat, Blurgs, Bantha. So really adorable. Your host, as they pointed out, is this character. It's an adventurous, quirky little droid, SFRE, and he's affectionately known as RE. So did you watch, I only caught a little bit of one of these. Have you run through these yet, Mike?
No, I haven't checked these out yet.
They're cute and quirky.
Yeah.
Really nice introduction for kids. The Tuca, he adopts this, he's like fostering this cat. And so it's a little bit on the importance of taking care of your wildlife in your house.
Okay.
They're not really wildlife, they're domestic, but in this case it's wildlife. So yeah, no, it's cute, it's well done, and I'm sure it will introduce more and more characters to the little ones. at the East Coast, casting for the Galactic Starcruiser has been highlighted by the Disney Parks blog and on Laughing Place. So you can check that out from among the links below. All right. Countdown's on, huh, Mike?
Yeah, that'll be opening in just, was it April? Yeah, 5 months.
That's
pretty
very,
crazy.
very close. It's amazing.
6 months.
And then as the holidays approach, we have an unboxing here on the Laughing Place YouTube channel. It's an exploration of the Lightsaber Forge collection from Hasbro. These are an incredible collection of sabers. Alex takes you through the various models that you see there. But what's fun about these is, as you can tell if you're a fan, I'm sure Mike can tell, this is a Mace Windu blade, part of a Darth Maul hilt. And yeah, so I took various components. I think it's a Darth Vader sound effect. And so I was able to create my own
mix and match.
Yeah, it was my own abomination of a lightsaber. So and then the nice thing with these toys is that they do have some different sound profiles with them. The dark saber has a different sound profile when you illuminate it and move it around than when you use other sabers. So those are available from Hasbro. Like I say, there's a really full, kind of bit by bit evaluation of it right here on our YouTube from Alex. And from Lucasfilm Publishing, Mike, what can you tell me about this?
So we got some new poster art teasing the conclusion of Phase 1 of the High Republic, which is going to be broken up into 3 phases overall. But Phase 1 is coming to an end at the beginning of 2022. I think starting in January, these new books are going to be coming out. And they put out this ad, which features in the center the destruction of this space station called the Starlight Beacon, which is kind of the central focal point of all the stories so far. So it's kind of interesting that not only is it going to get destroyed, but they're telling us it's going to get destroyed before we see it happen. So we kind of know that that's coming from this poster art.
So as
all the Jedi surrounding it there.
As we begin to wrap up here at Star Wars Headlines, I wanted to bring to your mind, Erin Condren has done a variety of holiday-themed Star Wars covers and various other items. That's a planner brand. You can get calendars, various stationery from Erin Condren. We highlighted it recently on Barely Necessities. And later today, in fact, in just an hour, Becca and I will be back right here on this YouTube channel, talking about all kinds of Disney and Star Wars and Marvel merchandise that has been highlighted on Laughing Place over the past week. I know we're going to be talking about some villains fashion dolls. We're going to touch on the lightsabers as well, a little bit of jewelry. All kinds of products are going to be there on our Barely Necessities show in just an hour. And later tonight at 7:30, we'll have Disney Trivia Live, hosted by my husband and co-founder of Laughing Place, Doobie, along with our son Gideon. So you can play that live. And I guess for now, that is it for us here at Star Wars Weekends. Did I skip anything, Mike? I think we went down the whole checklist. Do you know what you've got? Is there anything you can tease on the horizon?
Yes.
I know sometimes you have certain secrets you got to keep for a while.
Yeah, well, I can say that I have read this book, which is coming out very soon, and I have written my review, but the review will not come out until a week from today. And a week from today, I can start talking about it. So that's all I can say for now.
Okay, so next week, tune in and find out what Mike thought of Thrawn Ascendancy, the next in Timothy Zahn's new Thrawn trilogy. So very, very exciting. So thanks again for joining us here at Star Wars Headlines on Laughing Place, and we'll see